The Franklin half dollar is a significant coin series that depicts one of the most influential figures in American history. Though it's now been retired for well over 50 years, it wasn't until fairly recently that the coin's true numismatic rarity began to shine. A large part of the reason that the Franklin half dollar's rarity was recognized by the community was because of our very own Rick Tamaska's life research on this series. Now, decades ago, before collectors recognized the true rarity of the series, Rick Tamaska recognized its value, and he really dedicated his life to these coins. Now Rick is seen as the authority on this series, even collaborating with NGC to make the Tamaska Signature Series labels. Now, the coins in these exclusive Tamaska Signature Series holders have all been personally viewed by Rick to ensure they are of the highest quality eye appeal for their date and their grade. Now, the Franklin half dollar was produced from 1948 to 1963, and it succeeded the Walking Liberty half dollar. Though the Walking Liberty was a beautiful coin, mint officials felt it was kind of old-fashioned and they wanted a modern motif on the half dollar. Nellie Taylor Ross, the director of the mint at that time, was a long admirer of Benjamin Franklin, and she wished to see him on a coin. Though he was considered for the dime, mint officials ultimately thought the half dollar was a better fit. Interestingly, Franklin himself had voiced his distaste for placing portraits on coinage. Ross, however, believed Franklin would have approved of his portrayal 158 years after his contributions to his country. The Franklin half dollar design was based on early works by John R. Sinek, the 8th chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. Unfortunately, Sinek passed away before the design's completion. His work was taken over and completed by his successor, Gilroy Roberts. The obverse, based on a medal Sinek had designed in 1933, displays a right-facing portrait of Franklin. His portrait is surrounded by the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," with the date just below to the right. Just below Franklin's shoulder resided Sinek's initials, JRS. The reverse was modeled after that of the 1926 sesquicentennial half dollar, which depicts the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Above the bell reads United States of America, and below reads half dollar. The design is flanked by the national motto E Pluribus Unum and a small eagle. Unlike most U.S. coins, the eagle on the Franklin half dollar was actually an afterthought. This design element wasn't added until mint officials realized the Coinage Act of 1873 demanded one be present on all denominations above the dime. The Franklin half dollar was struck at the Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Denver mints. However, San Francisco production was very short-lived, only occurred from 1948 to 1954. The mint marks are located on the coin's reverse, just above the Liberty Bell. Today, the Franklin half dollar is an incredibly popular series among coin collectors for a couple of reasons. One, Benjamin Franklin is one of the most beloved founding fathers of all. He's America's first true Renaissance man. It's also a popular pick because unlike past half dollar series with hundreds of different issues, the Franklin half dollar series was pretty limited. So this makes the series more accessible. It makes completing a collection less daunting of a task. One challenge Franklin collectors may face is acquiring the coins in really high grades. Mint state populations across the series are pretty low, and this holds especially true in gem populations, MS 65, Proof 65 and better. Among the most coveted of all those are the coins that boast full bell lines, the full bell lines designation. This illustrious designation only applies to business strike, circulation strike, mint state Franklins that exhibit a complete strike, which is elusive among a lot of the business strikes. To qualify for full bell lines, to have that distinction, the lines on the base of the Liberty Bell must show complete separation with no major disturbances present. Proof Franklin production began in 1950, 2 years after the series began. The mintages of the earliest proof issues is extremely low. Early proof issues are hard to find in any condition, but are incredibly difficult to find in high grades, the highest grades. And those early issues that show cameo contrast are minuscule in quantity and therefore some of the rarest of all Franklins. Unfortunately, the Franklin half dollar was a rather short-lived series. Following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963, Congress took swift action in placing him on the dollar, which was released the next year in 1964. Still, we're grateful to see Benjamin Franklin grace an American coin for any period of time. This is a man who embodied all of our nation's finest virtues and who laid the blueprint for a republic that has lasted well over 200 years. As our distinguished founding father, prolific inventor, and co-author of the Declaration of Independence, Benjamin Franklin is arguably the greatest American, and it's truly wonderful that we have forever memorialized him in U.S. Numismatics.